Hey everyone, Coach Investor back to another video for today. So this is the second video of the day. The first one was about Roblox. If you missed that one, it's going to be in the top right corner. Unlike Roblox, Airbnb is actually up today, 4% or so at the time of making this video. Great earnings report, good guidance as well. So as for the top and bottom line, revenue of $1.53 billion versus expected $1.46 billion. Earnings per share came in at 8 cents versus the expected 5 cents. So a nice beat on that. And as for guidance, revenue guidance between $1.41 billion and $1.48 versus an expected $1.27 billion for Q1. So incredible numbers there. Now, I'm also going to talk about some of the competition. So Marriott, Expedia, they all reported earnings as well. Both of them reported before Airbnb. That's also why the stock is up around 15% this week. So Marriott reported earnings earlier this week. Revenue of $4.45 billion, beating expectations of $3.86 billion, and earnings per share of $1.30 versus the expected $1.02. As for Expedia, revenue of $2.28 billion, they missed on expectations of $2.31 billion, but they beat earnings per share of $1.65 versus the expected 97 cents. So quite nice, especially if you own a lot of stocks in the tourism, in the travel industry, because those companies, those stocks are doing fairly well this year as the economy reopens, as travel reopens. Those are the types of companies that are probably right now doing much better than anything else out there. Now, as for Airbnb, something I didn't really mention since I didn't talk about Airbnb for a while, and that's the fact that Square's CFO, Amrita, has joined Airbnb's board of directors. Smart move from both sides. Here's a little quote from Airbnb's CEO, Brian. When Airbnb first started, we were able to build a system of trust by using what was at the time the most cutting-edge technology. For example, Airbnb's payment infrastructure has been a critical part of our success. We've processed $336 billion in payments in 63 currencies since 2013. We want to continue to innovate onto the next generation of technologies for our community, and Amrita's deep knowledge can be incredibly influential here. Now, maybe this will see synergies between Square, Block, and Airbnb in the future. Who knows? I believe Amrita has also joined the board for Discord, so she's definitely making some news, and that's why I say every time I talk about Square or Block, I always say that if Jack just loses its way, we have a great CFO that can take his place. But enough about that. Let's talk about Airbnb, but first, I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with The Motley Fool to bring you 10 free stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Now, Stock Advisor has beat the market by more than 4x. So all you have to do is go to fool.com/couchinvestor to get your free 10 stock picks now. All right, so let's go over the key numbers here. So obviously nights and experience booked, nice increase year over year, 59%. And on the 2-year, that's actually down 3%. But if you look at gross booking values, that's up 91% year over year, 93% year over year if you exclude FX. And then on the year over 2-year, that's actually up quite a lot, 32%. So might be down nights and experience booked 3% year over 2 years, but the gross booking values is up significantly. As for revenue, as mentioned before, $1.5 billion, up 78% year over year and up 38% year over 2 year. As for the fiscal year, $6 billion, up 77% year over year and 25% year over 2 years. And here are some of the most amazing numbers out there. Net income loss for the fiscal year, still negative $352 million. But if you look at the quarter, positive $55 million. Compared to negative $3.9 billion in Q4 2020 and $352 million in Q4 2019. Go even lower here, adjusted EBITDA, $333 million for the quarter, Last year, that was negative 21 million. And 2 years ago, that was negative $276 million. As for the fiscal year, $1.6 billion. Fiscal year 2020, negative 251 million. And 2019, negative 253. So incredible growth, incredible margins here. Very, very optimistic on Airbnb's future. And now a quick look at some business highlights. So the strong performance in 2021 was driven by a number of positive business trends, which are guests are discovering thousands of small towns and rural communities on Airbnb as discussed in past videos. Domestic and non-urban travel have grown throughout the pandemic, with non-urban gross nights booked up nearly 45% compared to Q4 2019. They also say that guests are also returning to cities. Gross nights booked growth at urban destinations in Q4 2021 accelerated from Q3 and have nearly recovered to Q4 2019 levels. Also, don't forget that travel worldwide is still not back to the levels it was before. It's getting there, but there's still some road ahead. So they say here, finally, cross-border travel continues to recover and has accelerated each quarter in 2021, recovering to nearly 35% of global gross nights booked in Q4 2021, up from 20% in Q1 2021. Guests are planning more travel despite variants and surges. Guests aren't just traveling on Airbnb, they're living on Airbnb, which is actually a very, very important metric here, because let's say people will start living on Airbnb, not just weeks, but seasons. That means that the company already knows how much revenue they're going to generate for that season, usually that quarter as well. Before, it was just a couple of nights here, a couple of nights there. Now we're seeing that people are staying weeks, if not months, the same place, which, as a business thing, is incredibly, incredibly good. If you're a host, even better. They say here that over the past 2 years, they've seen the average trip length increase by approximately 15%, with stays of more than 7 days now representing nearly half of all gross nights booked. Meanwhile, the long-term stays of 28 nights or more remained their fastest growing category by trip length and accounted for 22% of gross nights booked in Q4, up 16% from the same quarter in 2019. And last thing before we go into guidance and some things they mentioned on the call. So the host community is growing to meet the travel demand. Obviously, as travel returns and as people work from everywhere, you need more hosts. At least you need hosts to be available around popular places. So the host community is larger than ever, with 6 million active listings at the end of 2021. Hosts have earned a record $34 billion in 2021. So if you have space in your house, or if you have a secondary house, you don't want to rent it anymore, maybe think about doing an Airbnb. Alright, and as for guidance, they say here that for the first time since the pandemic began, they expect Q1 2022 nights and experience booked to significantly exceed Q1 2019's level, which we believe will result in their strongest quarterly nights and experience booked on record. They do expect some moderation in ADR, average daily rates, for this year, but they feel strongly about controlling their fixed and variable costs, and if ADR is able to moderate a little bit less than expected, they see room for some big upside surprise in their EBITDA. So to be honest, if you're an Airbnb shareholder, you cannot complain about this quarter or guidance. Airbnb is probably one of the strongest companies out there, still growing significantly faster than most companies in that sector, most companies as a whole. Great management, great execution, great brand. Now, during the earnings call, they talked about various things, touched on experience, because the experience side of the business still has a lot of potential, obviously has taken a huge hit during the pandemic, but this is something that they plan on ramping up this year. They also mentioned that guests that do use experiences, the percentage of people leaving 5-star reviews for experiences is much bigger than the percentage of people leaving 5-star reviews for homes. Two things you can take from this. One, if you're a host and you're not offering experiences, maybe you should think about offering it. And two, as a business side, the experiences side is still very, very small and has a lot of room to grow. Whether you're investing in Airbnb, whether you're an Airbnb traveler, maybe check out the experiences, especially this year. They said they're going to push that side of the business this year as we go out of this pandemic. They also talk about this new feature that they've added not so long ago, the I'm flexible feature, which goes hand in hand with what do they do if there is too much demand and not enough supply. So two things here. One, they do want to incentivize people to start hosting, start training, making it much easier to host and just offer Airbnb. Second of all, with the I'm flexible, if you don't know where you want to go, if you just want the platform to tell you where you want to go, this is where the algorithm kicks in. If there is too much demand to go to one specific place and you're flexible, they're obviously going to show you places where demand isn't as high, but supply is there. This is how they balance both worlds. All right, so to conclude, what can you say? Good quarter, good guidance, good management, good execution. Growth is still there. The story here is far from over. They can offer so much more, basically be the one-stop shop for your travel or maybe work from everywhere destination. So let me know down in the comments below what you think about Airbnb. Do you hold it? What do you think about this quarter? Let me know down in the comments below. If you like these types of videos, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, maybe hit that subscribe button. And as always, guys, take care, stay safe, and see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.